Hey boys and girls, how are you today? I hope you're still being safe and staying healthy. I miss you terribly and I cannot wait until we are back together so I can see you face to face and give you a big old hug. So honestly, I had a hard time deciding what I wanted to talk to you about this week, but I finally decided that I want to talk about fruit. So I went in my kitchen to see what I could find, and I have some blueberries and some strawberries and some limes. Now, the fruits that I just showed you are fruits that we can actually eat. But in the Bible, in Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 and 23, it talks about a different kind of fruit. And it says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law." Now, I know where a lime comes from. If I take the seeds out of here and I put them in some dirt and give them water and plenty of sunshine, a tree is going to grow, and eventually it's going to bear fruit or grow limes, and that's what I expect. But where do the fruits of the Spirit come from? So you remember last week when we talked about the parable of the sower, and he took seed and he scattered it on the ground, and some of it fell in places where it couldn't grow. It was too rocky, or there were weeds that choked them out, or it was too hot and they got scorched and the birds ate them. But there was also some seed that landed in good soil that had exactly what it needed, and it grew and it was able to produce the fruit or the flower that it was intended to bear or produce. Well, we are the ones who produce fruits of the Spirit. And like those seeds that landed in the good soil, God, who is the good seed, His Spirit lives and dwells in our hearts. And because of that, we are able to produce the fruits of the Spirit. We are able to produce joy and love and peace and patience and goodness and kindness and all of the fruits that are listed there. Now, there's a lot of them. So let's go through the list again, and sometimes a visual is helpful. So the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And I decided, since there's a whole bunch of them, I don't want to do them all in one day. I want to take several weeks and give each one of them their own time so that we can talk about them and know what they look like whenever we're trying to show these fruits that we are bearing. So we're going to start with the first one, and it's love. And I know we already did love in the first video that we shared together, but when we did that video, it was more about things that we love, people that we love, things we love to do. And this time I want it to be more about how we show love and how we give love to other people. And so we're going to start with our story this week. It's the greatest commandment. And it says this: "The Pharisees were a group of people who had lots and lots of laws. Altogether, they had more than 600. Phew, that's a lot of rules to follow. One day, one of the Pharisees said to Jesus, 'Teacher, what is the greatest law?' He didn't think Jesus could possibly pick just one law out of so many. He was trying to trick Jesus, actually. But Jesus knew the man he was trying to trick him. So he looked at the man and smiled. 'Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest of all commandments. But there's another really important one too,' Jesus said. 'Love your neighbor as yourself. If you obey these two laws, then you obey all of the laws.'" So in this short little story, it tells us what love is. Love is Loving God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. That's the greatest love that we can give and that we're actually commanded to give. But also, it's important that we love other people as we love ourselves. So that's what love is. Where does the love come from? So in 1 John chapter 4, if you start about verse 7, it says, "Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God." So, God is love, God gives love, God commands us to love, and He also gives us the ability to be able to do that, to bear that fruit of the Spirit. So I wonder, if we were to challenge ourselves this week to show love to others, what would that look like? So I have some suggestions here. This says, love is writing a note or letter and giving it to someone you haven't seen in a while. Mailing it, actually. Saying kind things to my parents and or my brothers and sisters. Love is sharing the last cookie or letting someone else have the whole thing to themselves. That's really hard. We have a lot of times around here when there's a pan of brownies left and there's only one. It's really hard. Well, it's hard to share, but it's even harder to say, no, you take it. It's okay. So that's love. Love is making a card for someone who is sick. So if there's someone at church that your parents know of that's sick or that you know of that's sick and a card might make them feel better, you could make it and mail it to them. Love is writing a note or letter and leaving it in your neighbor's mailbox or drawing a picture. Love is helping with chores around the house or in the yard. So you could help sweep or mop or vacuum or do laundry, rake leaves, water plants or flowers, anything like that. Love is letting someone else take a turn before you in a game. Sometimes that's hard to do. Love is telling someone what you appreciate about them. Find someone and tell them what you like about them. That would make them very happy and feel special and loved. Love is being a good listener when a friend or a family member needs somebody to talk to. Love is giving time, talent, or treasure to someone who is in need. So time just means donating your time. Talent is something that you do well, that you could use your talent to help somebody. And treasure is your money, if there's money that you would like to donate to someone or something that needs it right now. Love is doing something for someone even when you're tired and don't really feel like doing it. There are days when it's hard because we've just had a rough day and we don't really feel like we have love to give. But when you go ahead and do it, sometimes it makes you feel better. And love is drawing a picture and giving it to someone who lives in your house. So those are some ways that you could show love this week. And I'm sure you could come up with some others if you sat and thought about it for a little bit. So that's our first challenge this week, is to figure out how we can show love to others. Another challenge that I want to give you is to start memorizing Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 and 23. It's just the fruits of the Spirit. And we'll work on it until we get through all of the fruits of the Spirit, so you have several weeks to memorize it. But let's go through the list again and start getting it in our heads. So Galatians 5, 22 and 23 says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and and self-control. And also, I know a song that I used to learn the fruits of the Spirit whenever I was younger, so it's been around a while. But it goes like this. Oh, the fruit of the Spirit's not a lime. No, the fruit of the Spirit's not a lime. If you think it's a lime, you might as well hear it. It will never be a fruit of the Spirit, for the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Oh, the fruit of the Spirit's not a strawberry. No, the fruit of the Spirit's not a strawberry. If you think it's a berry, you might as well hear it. It will never be a fruit of the Spirit, for the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Now, you can sing it over and over, and you can change the verses to any fruit. A coconut, grapes, cherries, watermelons, any verses or any fruits that you want to use for the verse. So those are your 2 challenges. Show love to other people this week and start learning or memorizing Galatians 5 verses 22 and 23. All right, before we go, let's say a prayer. Dear God, thank you for fruit that we eat. Thank you for the fruits of the Spirit. Thank you for love. Help us this week to find ways to show your love to others. Thank you for loving us. We love you. Amen. All right. Get out there and show some love to other people and start memorizing the fruits of the Spirit. I will see you next week.